the next generation, Patrick Stewart. The cyberspace experience of virtual reality. From Saturday Night Live, Phil Hartman. And now, it's him!
Good evening. I'm Dennis Miller, but they call me Mr. Tibbs. Well, the Rodney King trial got off to a rough start today. The judge, who is white, bought the gavel down right on Rodney's head. And just brutal over there. More primaries yesterday. Pat Buchanan told voters that he'd been listening to Georgia on My Mind, but from now until June, his theme song will be California, Here I Come. Hey, I'm just glad he stopped listening to Wagner. Jerry Brown's win in the Colorado primary has firmed up his image as the anti-establishment alternative. Brown reinforced that perception today when he told a large crowd of student supporters, it's time to change the water in the bong of government. Take a few hits of new leadership. Jerry. What's with that turtleneck, Jer, huh? See him? He's wearing that turtleneck now? Ooh. Bachelor candidate hiding hickeys on his neck. With his victory in Colorado, Brown became eligible for federal matching funds. He didn't indicate how he would use them, although he does have his eye on a cherry 1968 VW microbus. And exit polls showed that Brown did exceedingly well amongst voters who get a kick out of voting for losers. Ooh. Some irate Jerry Brown supporters. I thought you guys were all into that Grasshopper Zen thing, huh? Paul Tsongas had victories in Maryland and Utah. You know, listening to Paul Tsongas try to give a powerful victory speech is like trying to get your dog to talk. Who's the better candidate, Clinton or Tsongas? Very tough personal decision. I mean, who was the better stooge? Curly? Shem? You tell me. Clinton did well with blue-collar voters. Tsongas did well with the white-collar workers. And Harkin did well with voters who had ring around the collar. So, Harkin won Idaho, where he narrowly edged out Mr. Potato Head. Yeah. You put in the eyes, you put in the nose, you put in the federal matching funds, and away he goes. Senator, oh, here's a big story. Ernest Hollings, is this the guy they call Fritz, Nick? Fritz Hollings?
Yeah.
You see this senator? He was joking with workers in South Carolina about the atomic bombs that were dropped on Japan. Did you see that? He said we should, what was it exactly? We should send over...
We should draw a mushroom cloud
on the cars we make.
Built by lazy American workers, tested in Japan. That was his joke.
Yeah, no, he said he wasn't Japan bashing. He was just whoring himself to get reelected. President Bush admitted yesterday that he made a mistake by raising taxes. Then he immediately blamed Congress. You know, George, accepting responsibility is the first step towards recovery. Admit you're powerless over your defense spending. Bush and Yeltsin are planning a summit. Thank you, a 12-stepper. Bush and Yeltsin are planning a summit in June, assuming he hasn't been overthrown by then. But I get the feeling Bush can hang on till at least August. And you see, the women on Senator Brock Adams' staff said they were shocked about charges of sexual impropriety against their boss. And they said they would remain shocked at least until their next paycheck clears. Jerry Tarkanian ended his career last night as the coach of the Nevada Las Vegas team. They were supposed to give him a car as a going wave gift, but they'd already given them all to the players. And John Gotti's defense lawyer said that the jury should discount Salvatore Gravano's testimony against Gotti because you're talking to a dead man. AT&T announced the layoff of 6,000 operators yesterday. Their pink slips included a note that said, "Thanks for being used by AT&T." And finally, I saw some nude pictures in People magazine showing Madonna, or these new pictures showing Madonna topless on a recent trip to Miami. You know, I've seen Madonna naked more times than I've seen myself naked. We got a great show for you tonight. We have Patrick Stewart from the new Star Trek will be here. Oh. Now, do you know about this virtual reality? Everybody know about that? It's just like really real-life video games, sort of. They hook your head up to this thing, and I had it happening once in the early 70s against my will. And just somebody grabbed me and hooked my head up to something. I love that layman's explanation I give to you. Oh, it's really neat. They take you and they hook your head up to something. I feel like quail out here. Anyway, we have a virtual reality expert here, Andy Halliday, and one of my old cronies, dear guy, a friend of mine from Saturday Night Live, Phil Hartman will be here. Oh, Goldie, thank you.
This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol, the one that coats. It's the only one you need.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis Presley. Wow. Now, do you dress like that because you just dig that, or do you like, were you just an Elvis freak?
Now we do a show.
All right. Felt like I was talking to Elvis in the last 3 hours of his life. Red, Sonny, prop him up. Get him some pie. All right, King. TCB, baby. TBC. Take better care of yourself. All right. This is our sketch artist, Darryl. Darryl Henley, everybody. Got a shot of Darryl? Saw a thing on PBS about Renaissance fairs the other night, and I just thought the guests might like to have a caricature sketch of themselves as they were on the show. So Darryl will be here, and there's nobody here right now to sketch, but there will be, and you see how good he is. All right, my doctor suggested I lay off red meat. Ooh, this is heavy-handed entry into a piece, but since the only real exercise I get is stress, and occasionally having Sally Kirkland drag me around the stage, I like a good steak. So the topic for tonight's case against case 4 is red meat. The case for red meat, man by nature is a hunter. The case against, the meat department at Safeway isn't exactly the Serengeti Plain. Case 4, livestock farmers depend on red meat consumption for their livelihood. Against, so do colon specialists. Well, That's an interesting day in a young man's life when he decides to specialize in the colon. What does that say about a guy? The case for cattle are easy to raise. The case against steroid-fed cows could mutate, grow a thumb, and pick up a hammer. Wow. This is a Stephen King nightmare. The case for cutting into a big, juicy steak. The case against the surgeon as he cuts into your chest. Wow. I think Jimmy Garner just sat up in his bed on that one, huh? The case for, it's a good source of energy for the active person. The case against, your body is so clogged with fat you get winded opening the mail. The case for, cattle, come on, they're simple farm dwellers. The case against, so are the Amish, and we don't eat them. The case for, a nice steak dinner makes you feel like a man. The case against, the clogged right ventricle makes you throw like a girl. And finally, the case for red meat, there's nothing more mouth-watering than a rare slice of prime rib. The case against, obviously, you've never seen Michelle Pfeiffer in The Fabulous Baker Boys. Yeah, for it again. All right, my first guest is the man on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Sorry, I wasn't even doing French. I just had a loogie stuck. Captain Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek, The Next Generation, Patrick Stewart, folks.
Take these off now. I just need them to find my way on here.
Yeah, it's a little dicey over there. Mm-hmm. You're used to being beamed places.
Well, without these, I could have ended up in their lap instead of close to yours.
Well, you're here now. Now, hey, what is this? Entertainment Weekly, Inside Trek, and in here they call you one of TV's most improbable sex symbols. How do you feel about that, Patrick?
Well, how do you feel about it? Would you imagine if you open your door on a dark, rainy night and there's somebody standing on your doorstep looking like that?
No, I can't. I somehow get the feeling you're not in this business to be called an improbable sex symbol, though. Now, what's it? It must be your...
But it helps.
Yeah.
It seems to help. How fragile we are.
Yeah.
An hour ago, I was calm and quiet and collected, preparing myself for meeting you and being here. I step outside into my car. It doesn't start.
Wow.
Suddenly, I'm a savage. All civilization falls away. I drove from the valley here in my son's truck.
Wow.
He drove it out to me because I'm too mean to get a taxi. And you people offered me a car, but I'd rejected it.
You passed on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What happened to your car? Faulty dilithium crystals? Or... He's been out here 40 seconds. I've done every lame Star Trek joke I know already. I'm sorry, Captain.
You see I'm still smiling?
I know. You must lock that on, man.
But I just mentioned this because you mentioned flying the Enterprise, that I drove from the valley here with the handbrake on, saying to myself, what is that terrible smell? Are there fires in the hills again? You know, why doesn't this city is getting worse by the day. I arrived here and the guy said, you know, there's smoke coming out of all the hubs because the handbrake is on. My son will kill me.
Now, coming from England, were you prepared for this Star Trek thing? I mean,
no,
it's not, obviously,
no.
It's not like it is over there here.
What, Star Trek or England?
No.
England is like England over there.
England.
America is like America over here. But Star Trek is different over there. It's regarded as a kind of camp children's show, for the most part. And in this moment, I also offend all those people in England who do take it seriously. But it hasn't threaded itself into the culture, the contemporary culture, in the way that it has in North America. And it has.
How many whacked people do you meet a day over here who want you to put them in the ship and take them away and save them from their lives? I mean, there are Trekkies over here that are just mad for it. Do you encounter every one of them?
Well, you know, there are Trekkies that are mad for it, and there are a lot of people who would not classify themselves as Trekkies who are mad for it, too. It is one of the curiosities and delightful curiosities of the show that it does span all ages, all races, all educational backgrounds, all social backgrounds. My fan mail shows me that, and it's a compliment to the show.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back. We're going to talk more about the new generation of Star Trek, the next generation, with Patrick Stewart after this. We'll be right back. Close. We're back with Patrick Stewart. Now, Picard seems to be a particularly astute individual. How much of, he almost has a keen political awareness. Is that part of you, or are you a political creature yourself?
That is part of me, yes. I was brought up in a family that was politically active, and as a child, 8, 9, 10, I can remember at election time being on the sidewalk with placards and chanting, "Vote, vote, vote for Mr. Palin. You couldn't vote for a better man." I sang on TV.
Yeah.
Dennis?
Beautiful. Wow, not since Didi Khan did Light Up My Life have I been moved by a tune like that.
And it was entirely unrehearsed. Well, yes, I was, and I still am.
What do you think of our political process over here in America? You're in the midst of it right now.
For the second time, of course, which is an indication of how long our show has been running. We've been going through the election. Well, I assume it will be a second president. There are still things about it that There are still things about it that I don't understand. I have yet to find one person here who can explain to me simply what the primaries are about, how they work, how they operate. That I don't understand. Do you have the time, Dennis?
Well, the primaries is when the Republicans pick their candidate and the Democrats get together and pick the guy whose ass is going to get kicked. So that's what happens every year.
Every 4 years. Yes. I have singing on TV. That was a kind of a first. I have another first. I brought a sort of surprise. Maybe it's a treat. I don't know what. But I have here. This was sent to me by a fan this week. So it's hot, and you are getting it first. This is my first ever theater review.
Oh.
I was 12 years old, and there's a photograph of me too. Perhaps you'd like to read the paragraph yourself. There's the photograph. This is young Patrick, and here is my review right there.
All right. Particularly inept at singing. No, teasing. Patrick Stewart had nice movement, but not enough variety, and Maurice Cass was...
No, that's it.
That's the whole thing?
Never mind, Maurice Cass got a good review, I think.
Oh, nice movement.
Well, you saw that when I walked out.
Sure, I did.
As for the variety, we'll see by the end of the show.
Hey, now, you finally, speaking of reviews, you finally went into the ultimate den of the harsh review, Frank Rich's backyard, and did something on Broadway. How petrifying was that for you?
Well, this magazine that you showed earlier has me now in print confessing that on the first night it seemed to me the very first thing I was going to do on a Broadway stage was vomit. I was so nervous. It was a solo show. There was just me and 30 or 40 different characters waiting for me on stage. That is, characters that I had to inhabit.
Had to play, right. Which one was going to vomit? The you one. It's good for the president. It's good for you.
Yeah, true. I was in good company, though I'm not quite sure that it's the kind of company I would like to keep. But nevertheless, in that sense.
Now, how what is the big fear there that you're just going to blank? I mean, obviously, if you're juggling 40 different things, you're running around stage.
No, the big fear was not blanking. The big fear was cutting, was jumping. There are so many segments in a 2-hour show. I had the fear that I would, and there's nobody to cue me, that I would switch from one segment to another one and leave out some important bits of the narrative.
And how did you come through this rite of fire? Did you?
I survived.
How long did you run there?
2 weeks.
You were there
2 weeks. We did 16 performances. A limited season because I squeezed it in the Christmas hiatus during Star Trek.
Now tell me about the thing coming up on TNT. This is
When the Lion Roars. This is a 6-hour documentary about the history of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. And probably just as unlikely as casting an Englishman to fly the Enterprise, They asked me to be the compere, host, presenter, narrator, all-purpose common man, the spirit of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Killer voice, though, and you're so...
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I told them MGM was a very international studio at the time. I think it will be a definitive piece of work on that studio, or perhaps any studio, not only because they've gone into it in so much depth, but the style of the show, which is in the style of an MGM movie, is so remarkable.
Did you meet any of your big heroes from your childhood, or?
Yeah, well, on Saturday night we had a gala premiere, and I got to meet
Esther Williams?
Esther Williams.
Yeah.
But most exciting with two people. I met Louise Reiner, who won two Oscars consecutively.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thrill of all was meeting a man called William Tuttle. Makeup created by William Tuttle for 30, 40, 50 years.
Oh,
I
he
saw
was
that
a famous makeup artist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Humble guy?
A charming, delightful guy. Lou Ayres was there.
Yeah. Oh, it must have been a thrill.
It was very exciting.
Patrick, it's good to meet you, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Patrick Stewart, folks. We're going to be right back with Andy Halliday and Virtual Reality right after this. Oh, there's your sketch.
This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
Welcome back, folks. Must be odd for that guy, huh? Shakespearean training, now playing Starship Commander. I saw him once in Merchant of Venus, and he was really quite good. What was in that banana? Okay, tonight we're going to experience a trip to cyberspace. I think you'll hear it behind a curtain, or somebody in the band's got a bad stomach, but this is Virtuality, the first virtual reality machine for consumers. Please welcome the man who is bringing us the future, Horizon Entertainment President Andy Halliday, folks. Andy. Wow, we got the future Starship Commander. We got the future, nice to know, in the future, the bald will lead. Jeez. I'm stuck back here in bedrock. All right, so what is, you got to explain it to me, and I know it's going to be hard to really convey what this is because it's a new thing, but what is virtual reality?
Well, it depends on which point of view you take, the computer's point of view or the human's point of view. If you take the human's point of view, virtual reality is some system that supplies all your senses with all the inputs necessary to blot out everything that's in the real world, but supply sufficient that you can function in a new or alternate reality.
Smell, too? I mean, is there smell involved
Ultimately,
in this?
VR will include smell, every one of the senses. Touch, sense of motion, vision, of course, stereo vision.
Now, we have enough kicks, don't we? Why do we, what do we need this kick for?
Well, it's not just a kick. In fact, if you take the computer's point of view and the development of... Thank you.
He didn't exist. He's computer generated.
We have some virtual water.
All right, because you're virtually thirsty. All right, go ahead.
From the point of view of computers and the development of computer technology, this is really just a new display technology. And it's one that takes you away from having to work with a computer through a keyboard and a screen, and instead supplies the inputs to your eyes right up to the head, and gives you more natural inputs to the computer in return, like through your hand or through body movements.
There's got to be a downside to this. I hear that you're eventually going to be able to have virtual reality sex, and I'm thinking if an unemployed guy with a bong laying on a Castro convertible somewhere in Trenton, New Jersey, can buy a tape for $19.95 and make love to Elle McPherson, it's going to make crack look like Sanka. What do you think? Are you guys afraid of this? Is this the downside?
Well, I might want to buy that program, but I don't think that's a mainstream problem. I think, generally speaking, this is, again, something that you'll choose on your own. Whether you want to do something that's X-rated, for example, in VR, that's up to you. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of that, and not only that, I think that reality will always supersede artificial reality when it comes to physical contact between humans.
All right, well, let's go see how it's played. We're going to, we've asked my announcer, Nick Buchanan. Can you hear me? Because I still haven't mastered the mic.
I'm going to take my jacket off here.
Now, I have such a tenuous grasp on actual reality. I've asked my announcer, Nick Buchanan, to step in here. And, Nick, you've been practicing all day with us. I wasn't able to. What's it? Put your headgear on.
All righty.
Wow. You look pretty in that, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
In the future, everyone will be a gynecologist. All right, I don't actually participate because last week we had Ed Ames on. He threw a hatchet. I lost the testicle. So now you'll be able to see it on the monitors, right? Do we have that? Can the crowd see it?
Can you see what I see?
Oh, now that's what he sees inside his head.
Okay, notice here I have an axe in my hand. You see this axe? Oh! Who did that? Okay, Nick, that was not good. Okay, I'm going to come down to you. And I want you to hold still, and please don't kill me.
Okay. I couldn't resist.
Vicious beast. Now turn around, please. Turn around. I want you all to see what he looks like.
Oh, so that's
There he
Nick.
is. Okay.
The blonde with the axe. All right, sort of like
Now
Dee
here,
Snider.
look up. Look up at the sky there. And you notice that his whole body works just like the one in the real world.
I think he looks better.
And now we can look around at the playing field we have. There's a red flag up there. There's a green flag at the far end of the field down
He's
there.
pointing us out and you can see.
Oh,
How do you go up those steps? How do you do that?
Well, the way it works is I press the top button on this joystick. If he would stop killing me, please.
Feisty little announcer I have there. You press the top button on your joystick?
I'm going to
Hell, I
switch
do
to
that now.
See, I use my shield there.
Now
Here's
you guys
the flag.
Wow, this
I'm going
is
to pick
really
up that
weird.
flag and get
Nick,
out of my
what's it
way
like
here.
in there, man? Tell me, you got to talk.
Oh, I can't. Dennis, you're so far away. I'm never coming back. I'm going to go up the stairs.
I'll follow you.
Okay, anybody want to be my announcer? Now, there's a pterodactyl that comes in, right, and grabs you by the head?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. That's the good... Whoa!
Where's the pterodactyl come in?
Whoa! Whoa! I feel like Charlie Parker.
Now, they're playing a game called Dactyl Nightmare, right? Dactyl Nightmare?
Yeah, that's the game. And this one is an advanced version which uses all these various weapons. There's a simpler game which uses the simple pistol.
Now, that's you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Whoa!
Nick, what, is it weird?
Yeah, it's actually dying is really enjoyable. It's now become my objective in the game.
I know, I do it 3 nights a week here. All right, we got to wrap up here. We got to get back to the real world, kids. But
this is
he's got
great.
a crossbow. Watch it, Nick.
Good shot.
Oh,
Block.
that has got a sting.
So that's the way
We got
this
to
game
keep this
plays.
around for Phil Hartman. He'd love this. He's a nut for stuff like this. We're going to be right back with Phil Hartman after this, folks. Virtual reality. Thank you, man. Thank you, boss. The band. Very Laurie Anderson over there tonight, boys. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Nikki, how was that, man? You okay now?
Oh, it's kind of hard to be back.
Didn't look that hard.
No, it was great.
How much is that going to cost now? Do you hear?
You
like
mean
for
to
a
do
kid
it?
to use? No, for a kid to use it.
I think it's like $4 for a quick round or something, but I don't know if that's here.
$4 for like a couple minutes?
Yeah, pretty expensive.
It's a virtual ripoff. Okay. No, I'm kidding. It's the thing of the future, and I live in the future. And all right. Tomorrow night, my guest will be Freddie from Nightmare on Elm Street. Are they still doing those, or is that finished?
I think he did the last one, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't he do
Freddy's Dead Again?
Nightmare on Zip Code or something? Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert Englund, comedian Jeff Altman, 17-pound butt steak, and the star of Lawnmower Man, which is a movie about virtual reality. This kid's a great actor. What was the White Heart Black Hunter? Did you see that movie?
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, he was killer. Jeff Fahey will be here. All right, Pat Buchanan had another strong showing in Tuesday's primaries. He's on his way to Louisiana. Or I read today that they're the Gilligan's Island fan club. Did you see that? They want to change the name of Maui to Gilligan's Island, actually. So they've asked the governor of Louisiana to change the name to Tina, Louisiana. And anyway, Buchanan's on his way there. We have a page from his Filofax. Let's see how Patrick's spending his days nowadays. 7 o'clock, wake up on far right side of bed. 7:05, open mind. 7:06, slam it shut as I begin a new day. 8:30, drop brown shirts at cleaners. 9 o'clock, remove left turn signal from limo. 11 o'clock, replay tape of me embarrassing Sam Donaldson on The Brinkley Show. 11:07, achieve orgasm. 12 o'clock, lunch, bologna on white bread. 1:30, cash check I won in the Fred Flintstone lookalike contest. 2 o'clock, inquire about having Berlin Wall shipped to Mexico border. 2:15, do the hokey pokey, turn myself around. 3 o'clock, practice keeping straight face while I say it's time for Bush to drop out of the race. 4 o'clock, get campaign picture of myself hugging Semite. 6:30, dinner, bologna on white bread, side of broccoli. 9 o'clock, agree to covert meeting with David Duke to plead with him not to out me. 10 o'clock, divide, conquer, and sleep. Okay, big, See, I think that's an interesting indicator, isn't it? Everybody thinks that Buchanan is like sort of a distaff function of this campaign, but the people, obviously big fans here tonight. Big Buchanan crowd, right? Okay, just had a bad bit on my hands then. I thought I was making a political assumption.
Maybe it's you.
The bad comedy piece. Okay, my next guest is currently in his 6th season at Saturday Night Live. Now here's a guy who deserves a film role. Let's look at some of his great work.
Do you have a question, Senator Kennedy? Yes, I do. Have you ever tried coming out of the bathroom nude and acting like you didn't know someone was there?
No.
Well, that's too bad, because that works too.
Phil Hartman, folks. Phil Hartman.
I hope he knows how to draw hair.
Yeah. Good to see you, Phil, man. Hey, now you're the man of 1,000 voices. You gonna do some for us? Yeah? Okay. Why don't I...
All right, pick a number between 1 and 1,000.
All right, 1. Give me 1.
Well, that's my normal voice.
Oh, okay.
It goes something like this. Well, that's my normal voice.
Great.
And it goes something like this.
Now, number, okay, 17.
17 is one of my favorites. You know, it's kind of an obscure voice. I don't know if you'll know this guy. I'm sure a lot of your audience won't, but Paul Ford, do you remember him?
Sure.
The voice of Colonel Hall from the Sergeant Bilko show. He also played Mayor Shin in The Music Man, the feature.
And he was in Never Too Late, right? That film about having a baby in later life?
Yeah,
I think he was.
He's a great character actor, and he had a wonderful voice, and it goes, all right, Bilko, where's Doberman? And I did that same voice, in fact, for, I did 65 episodes of Dennis the Menace, and I did Mr. Wilson with the Paul Ford voice. So yeah, it was an easy switch. All right, Mitchell, where's Dennis?
Okay, give me 83. Number 83.
83, another obscure one, Wilfred Brimley.
Oh.
Not many people do him. It's the right thing to do and a new way to do it. He's kind of an odd choice to sell oatmeal. He seems a little surly, don't you think?
Yeah, it seems a little constipated.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a guy, you know, the mean boss. Clear out your desk or I'll knock your head off with a baseball bat.
What number is Ed McMahon? I need some Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon is now number 2.
Give me number 2.
You are a winner. Yes. You could be a winner in the American Family Publishers giveaway, but you have such great presence. I want you in the spokesmodel category on Starship. You will perform right after the youthful dance group. 3 freaks in search of a sideshow.
Give me, I'll be Johnny. May a bird drop droppings on your son's bippy.
Yes! You are good. That's the job I want! That's the job I want. I have this theory of how he got that job. He must have saved Johnny's life in the Korean War. Pork Chop Hill. Carson's been hit. Yes, this is Delta Zebra Niner. Yes, I'd be glad to carry him 160 miles on my back. But I can't. He took shrapnel in the kidneys. Now, I have 2 good kidneys with the same blood type. But you'll have to talk me through the operation. I have a Swiss Army knife right here. All right, I'll need the tweezers and the toothpick. Let me find them. I can't find the toothpick, damn it!
Give me a "You are correct, sir," before we go to commercial.
You are correct, sir, yes.
We'll be right back with more Phil Hartman after this, folks. We're back with Phil Hartman. No, you're too kind.
It's interesting you had Patrick Stewart on.
Yeah.
Because a couple of days ago, somebody sent me a tape of William Shatner. And he's done some goofy things, the Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and the album and everything. This is a tape of him from 1978 on a music awards show.
I just saw it.
Did you?
Yesterday.
And he recites the lyrics, the Bernie Taupin lyrics to Rocket Man, sitting on a stool, smoking a cigarette. And it is so hilarious. It's like, I packed my bags last night, pre-flight. 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'll be high as a kite by then. You just want to die.
No, it's the best thing I've ever seen.
And then they mad in 2 other William Shatner.
And what was with the drunk one? One of the third Shatner's like a drunk lounge singer, and he stumbles out, and I think it's gonna be. Oh man, it makes me proud to be in this damn business.
Yes.
You know what the best line in it though is? At one point, Shatner actually says, "Mars sure ain't no place to raise a kid."
Yeah. Oh man, he put more spin on those lyrics, like, because I'm a rock man.
It is exquisite. It's the best thing I've ever seen. So, hey, tell us about the kid.
New baby girl?
New baby, yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah, little Sean.
Sean's 3.5 now.
Now, the babies come when they want. This one came at probably the oddest time it could have, right?
Exactly. I mean, my nightmare was it's going to come on a Saturday. And Friday night, my wife calls me. We do long rehearsal Friday, 12-hour day. My wife calls me, honey, I think I broke my water. We're down to the hospital. Yep, sure enough. They tried to induce labor. I went home and tossed and turned for a few hours. And
it's brutal on you, sure.
Well, she took most of the heat.
Yeah,
the first to admit it.
You had an epidural just so you could sleep.
I do before on every show day anyway, but I didn't get any sleep. I came back 8 in the morning, and the labor wasn't happening. She wasn't dilating, so they went under the knife, and at noon I got a little baby girl in my hands, and I'm just, you think you're going to be more blasé on the second one, but if anything, I was more blown away. So then I have to go to work, begin a 12-hour day, and 100 people, one at a time, come up and say, well, what happened? And I'm going through this story, and every time I get to the part, I'm bursting into tears. I'm like sleep deprived. I'm just a wreck, and I'm crying all day long. And then at the end of the show, Lauren puts me right together with our host, Susan Day. And it makes me cry just thinking about it. Susan Day, her good night was, on behalf of everyone in Studio 8H, we want to welcome Miss Bergen Hartman to the world. I just went, I completely lost it.
Yeah.
But it's, you know.
Look at Phil tearing up. Oh.
You know.
Bergen, I love that name.
It's a Norwegian, Swedish, my wife is Swedish Norwegian, and we wanted a Scandinavian name. And
Phil's wife, Olaf. No, Bryn. Hi, Bryn. You
Talk
okay?
about yourself.
Stabilized, huh? Let me hold you. Oh.
You know what's interesting, though? You become, this will happen to you, because you got a little boy, too, but if you ever have a girl, you become an instant feminist. Anybody gets in the way of my little girl, none of this glass ceiling stuff. She's going straight to the top of the executive pool.
You are running the emotional gamut here. Hey, now, quick, tell me the Nicholson story real quick. We got around 1 minute. I love this. You do a great Nicholson, so...
Well, you know, you always think, will I ever run into somebody I've impersonated? And quickly, Lovitz and Carvey and I were golfing one day. Nicholson walks up behind us, and we just can't believe it. We played to the second green, and that's the one as a courtesy you wave people to the green. He hits to the green. Lovitz goes up to him and goes, you know, we're from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, that's the ticket. He goes, yeah, I know who you guys are. And he goes, well, you know, my friend dubbed your voice in the movie The Border, which is true. I actually dubbed dialogue for Jack in The Border. And I introduced myself, and I said, yeah, it's that scene where you leave the clothing store with Harvey Keitel, and you turn to him and go, I want to thank you and your wife for all your help. And he laughed, and he said, no wonder that movie was my only loser.
Good to see you again, Phil. Phil Hartman, folks. We'll be right back after
This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you.
All right, we're back. I'd like to thank my guests tonight, Patrick Stewart, Andy Halliday, for demonstrating virtual reality, and Phil Hartman. Good to see Phil again. And Darryl Henley. Darryl, I understand you've been working on one of me. Can you show it to the people?
Doing one for you.
Oh, God. You know, I might be in this business 40 years, and that'll be the lamest ending I've ever heard. Good night, teenagers. Bye-bye. When in Los Angeles, guests of the Dennis Miller Show stay at the St. James Club and Hotel.